What is up, everybody? Drew Kerr, 49ers Sports Talk here once again, Tuesday night with CG Ruthless. And as always, we are going to start you out with a quick beer review and, kind of give you our thoughts on what we're drinking. So without further ado, CG, what are you drinking on today?
A Hanneken Silver. This is what I got on sale. So, didn't have enough time. So I stopped at a local Walmart and this was on sale for some reason. So I got it. And speaking of the one beer you were talking about, there's some resemblance of this certain beer that you were talking about. So this is I guess this is a low carb and low calorie, but it has 4% alcohol. So let's give it a try. Oh, yeah. Actually, this is pretty decent. Usually the original one's pretty more strong, right?
Yeah,
But
definitely.
this is not too bad.
A little bit more flavor.
This is more healthy, actually. If somebody wanted to go on a diet on a healthy beer, this is a perfect beer to go with, actually.
Is it really light? Does it have flavor for one of those low calorie beers?
Nah, it's kind of like a watered down version, I guess. I don't know. Like it just seems normal. Like if you wanted to go on a diet and drink something healthy, this would be like your healthy choice with low carbs and all that stuff. But this was on sale, so this is what I got.
Well, I am drinking a beer that comes from the oldest brewery in the United States. A lot of people out here east of Texas know this beer. 1829 is when they were established. It's called Yingling, and I have this special version here called Stars and Stripes. I forget how much goes to supporting our American veterans. But I'm proud to drink this during 4th of July. As you can see, the thumbnail kind of had a little American flag theme.
Yeah.
I've got my summer gear on. Actually, funny story. This shirt, I'm wearing it in honor of Shanna Stash. Kind of got a Weekend at Bernie's vibe to it. So yeah, that's why I'm wearing this little Hawaiian shirt here. It's my 4th of July shirt too. So got like surfing. You can't really see it in the picture, but it's got surfing Bigfoots and it's really like a USA hat. So kind of cool.
Actually, I like that because I get something like that too. But I didn't.
I have had this beer. I really like it. It's my go-to when we're not doing a beer review. But I figure I introduce it to some of the people that might not have had it. If you're new to the East Coast or whatever, if you moved from California, highly recommend Yingling. It's kind of like an everyday beer. Very good flavor. It's a lager, and So, cheers to everybody. Happy hour with CG and Drew, Niners Brew Crew. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about the NFC conference and who poses the biggest threat. And so we'll just kind of jump right into that. Just want to check in the comments and see who we got here. We got Tommy talking crap per usual. Yingling, let's fucking go. Right. All right.
He's from Pennsylvania for what he said.
Yeah. So he's well versed in Yingling. So show the chops. I don't know what that means. Show the lamb chops. So he's got the Elvis thing going on.
Yeah, I guess everybody calls me like
impersonation for us.
Oh, thank you very much.
All right. So we are going to start out with. I'm kind of going to go in the order. I put these in order of who I think's like kind of the weakest to strongest opponents that the Niners might have to face. So we're going to start off with the Rams. And go ahead and just jump right into that and kind of give me your thoughts on them and how much you think they pose a threat to the Niners this year.
They do pose a threat in the division because not only that you're going to play them twice a season, it's a possibility you might even meet them the third time when it comes down to the playoffs. So they know us pretty well. So you wouldn't take this team lightly. So from a 1 to 8, I would say, from a 1 to 10, I would say they really possess a threat to us. I would say maybe like an 8 to a 7 because they can really make a run for their money.
Do you think that the division will be tight this year?
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to those two teams, actually.
Yeah, I don't know about tight because I kind of, I've already kind of gone through all 18 weeks and I did a prediction week by week. I'm going to do a video on that later on. I don't think that they have a really great chance of winning the division. It's not impossible. Obviously, anything can happen, injuries, all sorts of nonsense. But for me, I think I wound up having them going like 11-6, somewhere in that ballpark, and the Niners going just a little bit better than that. And so I think that my biggest problem with the Rams is their defensive line. I think they're going to have trouble because they got 2 rookies they're going to plug in there year one, right? You got Jared Verse on the edge, and you got what's his name, Fisk.
Oh, Braden Fisk, yeah.
And so those 2 guys, usually, not always. Sometimes you get a blue chipper like Nick Bosa, but normally it takes a while for defensive linemen to kind of get up to speed. And then they're going to be next to it, even, a young guy in Kobe. What's his name? Kobe Turner.
Kobe Turner is their D tackle, and then they got Kobe Durant in the second.
He almost got Defensive Player of the Year. So very, very young, inexperienced defensive line. Not totally crazy about their linebackers. I think they have – who do they have? They got Ernest Jones.
And Michael Hoyt or whatever his name is.
Byron Young.
Byron Young's like a pass rusher, but you look at I've heard a lot about certain mixed feelings towards them with Michael Hoyt. They don't really like him as much. Yeah. They see him as a guy.
They got Roseboom and Reader. So
Reader's like one of their most reliable starters besides
he kind of reminds me a little bit of Chris Borland back in the day, a little bit like that. But I'm not crazy about their defense, but they do have a pretty good defensive coordinator.
I mean, if you look at, I wouldn't say, but I wouldn't. Oh, I wouldn't say
it's the grandson of Don Shula, I think.
Oh yeah, Chris Shula. But I'm not saying that their defense is going to be good. I say their offense is going to make up for that. Like, you don't have to have a top defense in order to be as good as you are. Because if you look at the Rams, they addressed the offensive line to protect their quarterback. You see the 2 receivers. You got Puka and Cooper. If they're both healthy, and you got this offense at a full strength with Stafford, it can go either way. But defensively, I think defensively can be the issue.
They got Kevin Dotson. He came over from Pittsburgh.
They got
Jonah Jackson from the Lions. So yeah, they beefed up the interior. Steve Avila. But if you're like, okay, the Niners have firepower just as much as they do on offense, probably a little bit more. And then you're like matching defenses. You're like Niners defense, Rams defense. I think you have a pretty significant gap.
The only difference is the Niners have more of a better advantage with defense, but I think the Rams, they're trying to make the strides. They got some young players. Usually that takes time for them to get better, but I think offensively, their offense is going to be a lot better than their defense. So we can
I agree with that. But we'll see. I think that no boom.
No, but I think they'll make a run for their money. Like, you may think we'll win you think we'll win a division with no problem. I hope you're right about it, but I think they can make a run for your money a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see. Like I said, Stafford's a rhythm quarterback, but he does sometimes get banged up throughout the year. So there might be a time where we do see Jimmy G, and we know how to beat Jimmy G. I mean, it's all out there, and the Niners are pretty versed there.
Well, the Rams think they got the play. They think the Rams thought getting Jimmy G would get them some advantage. We'll see.
Yeah. So with the Rams, for me, I feel like they're a wild card team. I don't think that there's going to be a huge dispute about that. It would take something catastrophic for the Niners to lose the division to the Rams, so I can't really see it. Plus, Shanahan just has that ownage on McVay, with the exception of the championship game where Tart dropped the intercept. We don't want to relive that, obviously, but I think that
they could be a wild card team. I agree, they could be a wild card team, but don't rule out that they could make a run over our division a little bit. So we'll see.
Yeah. So I am moving on to the team that we barely beat in the divisional round at home, the Green Bay Packers.
Here's the thing with Green Bay Packers. I really love what they got with Jordan Love, actually. They got themselves a quarterback. They didn't have to go through mediocrity quarterback for those 30 years. So they're in good hands. The problem is, how much money is Jordan Love going to get? I think this is his final year of his contract. You look at the Packers, all right? Their offense.
I thought they would extend him.
You
by
would
now.
think, yeah.
It's kind of weird that they're not.
You look at what they got, right? They got some receivers. They're pretty unproven, but if Love can make the most out of these guys, they could be good. But they got Josh Jacobs. To me, I don't know, bro. I don't know if he'll fit well with the Packers. I just don't know, man.
Yeah,
Like,
I think that he has the right mentality. I think that he was, because he even said this about Aaron Jones. He was like, this guy did not hit the hole like how how Kyle likes his zone run scheme, and when that hole opens, you got to shoot through like a cannon. So I think he understands that. So he could be better than Aaron Jones. I don't think he's going to be better than Aaron Jones in the receiving game. And then here, like Jason just said, they have a great group of young wide receivers. I think I agree with that. I don't know if you agree with that.
No, they have a great group of young talent. Like, you look at the receivers. I mean, Christian Watson, he's got potential to be a really good receiver. I mean, Jaden Reed's a very underrated receiver, and then they got this Dante Wicks. Then you got Bo Melton. I mean, it's pretty solid. Like, they got some good receiving core talent. They're just not big names right now. But once Jordan Love starts to build that chemistry, you're going to hear their names a little often. So
I'm not in love with their offensive line.
Yeah, it's a little shuffle because they don't got Bakhtiari coming back. I think
they have two rookies, Jacob Monk and Jordan Morgan. Jordan Morgan's going to start. That was a high.
That's who I liked. I liked the Jordan Morgan, but I think they're going to put him at tackle, which I think
they're actually showing him as guard. They've got Zach Tom as the right tackle and Rasheed Walker as the left tackle.
Yeah, that could be pretty intriguing. So we'll see. But
he's
think
kind of big, and he's kind of oafy, so I think it makes sense to have him on the interior.
Yeah, more bigger body, but I think if you're looking from a 1 to a 10 with the Packers, like if you play them in the playoffs, I want to just save 6. I don't think they pose much of a threat to us. I think they'll give us a little bit of competition, but I think we already know what they're all about. Just like how you just said. Just like how you said about how we own McVay, right? Matt LaFleur just can't get the job done with Kyle Shanahan.
It's almost like every single one of Shanahan's disciples just can't get over the mental hurdle of beating him for some reason. So,
I mean, so the downside on the Packers is their run defense, bro. The Niners are just going to run the ball, and that's the problem with the Packers, bro. They don't have an answer, and they didn't even bring any quality players to fix that area. Like, who do the Packers sign? Who do the Packers get in the draft to fix that issue? They've been having that big leakage for decades, and that's how we've been able to run them over.
Rashawn, it's the same guys, right? You got Rashawn Gary, Kenny Clark, Devontae Wyatt, Preston Smith. It's the usual suspects. So like, are they? Yeah, I don't know. And then they have Javon Bullard, who's going to be a rookie playing safety. I think that's one of the easiest positions for a rookie to thrive in. I mean, we saw it with Brown, we saw it with Hufanga. So I think that he could do well there. And then they have Edgerrin Cooper, who's a new middle linebacker.
I mean, getting a linebacker is good and all that stuff, but you still need somebody to stop the run on the defensive line. They don't have that.
Yeah, they get pushed around. around. So, and that's the Niners' bread and butter. I think Shanahan's trying to beef up the passing game a little bit, but
adding more receivers to this passing game. But I think when you look at the Packers, bro, all you gotta do is just run the ball in the playoffs. They don't have an answer for that.
Yeah.
So
giving
them assist is being generous.
That game had us all nervous, like we were going to lose. We were all on the edge of our seat for the entirety of that second half, and we barely squeaked it out. I mean, Purdy did his thing, and
I don't know why it has to be luck. I don't understand that part. Like, so is everybody going to ignore Jordan Love's performance? Didn't he have like less than 200 yards, 2 interceptions? That should be more of a criticize than just talking about a would-be interception, bro. Nobody talks about those and nobody cares about them, because if that's the case, bro, then Jordan Love would have threw 7 interceptions by then. Yeah. Okay, so didn't Jordan Love kind of almost threw 7 picks, but instead threw 2 interceptions?
Right, yeah. That felt a little bit not Brett Favre-ish. I don't want to say Brett Favre-ish. It felt more like Tony Romo. Like, but Tony Romo was great. He was a great in-season quarterback, had great stats every year, but then he got to the playoffs, and what happened? Tony Romo turned into
Tony Romo. But me putting him from 1 to me putting 6 as being generous because they can be good, but if you run the ball good, they're done.
Do you think? Well, we'll get to that in a minute, but we'll get to that in a minute. I'm gonna move on to the next team, which is in the same division, and so I'm gonna ask this right off the bat: who wins the division between these two teams, in your opinion?
Oh my God, this is a tough one. I think the Lions are a hungry team. They were just this close, very close. They had a big lead and they blew that away. I think by this division, it's going to come down between the Packers and Lions. I said this earlier, and I want to stick with this. I want to say the Packers are going to win this North division.
I'm kind of leaning that direction with you because I think that there's some weird stat that the losing NFC champion team, the Niners are an exception, usually don't make it back to even the championship game. So
they don't come back the same. That's what it is. I mean, I would say the Lions, they are a young, hungry team. I'm not underestimating them. I know what they're capable of, but I wouldn't sleep on this Packers team. I think this Packers team is ready. So I'm not going to go lightly on the Lions, but realistically, if I gave the Packers a 6, more than likely I'll give the Lions a 6 also because it can go either way. So I don't see them as much of a threat like some of you guys think because last year they were at their best. This year, I don't think they will be.
Yeah. I think that if they take a step back, it's going to be because Dan Campbell has not grown. He gambled way too much last year, and that type of stuff usually catches up to you, and it did in the worst kind of way. I mean, they were celebrating at halftime. They were probably popping corks in the locker room, and they came back out in the second half and got their ass kicked. So, they turned from being the bullies in the first half to getting just literally ran over. I mean, it was all bad.
I was at that game, and there were some Lion fans out there. They just felt like, dude, they were just like talking about Super Bowl right towards halftime, bro. And I was just like saying, damn, I don't know if we're gonna get this.
Yeah.
But I kept the faith. I kept saying, man, we'll see what happens. But when I seen these Lions fans just brag and say, oh, we're just 2 quarters away from the Super Bowl, we got this, and I'm like kind of shaking my head like, come on, man, get a comeback or this is a wrap. It's like that's what it was. But I don't know. I think Dan Campbell's little he needs to stop being – I mean, I like that he's aggressive, don't get me wrong. But, man, why do you got to be too damn aggressive to the point where it's like head scratching? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you have to – and Riverboat Ron did the same thing. You have to be calculated with those times where you're going to go for it. You can't just say, 4th and 3, let's go for it every single time. And that's, a little bit of an exaggeration, but you have to be a lot more calculated, and you have to know when to strike. You have to, read the field. You have to say, the defense is on their heels. They're tired. I think we can get these 2 yards. And not just 3 yards, no problem. Let's push them back. We got a great offensive line because teams are going to stack and they're going to sell out. And the Niners did that. And like Tommy said, Dan Gamble. And it's not the recipe.
Yeah. Well, Dan kind of reminds me of a certain PE teacher who kind of has that mentality, like, oh, we're going to do this. We're going to do this all the time. And he's kind of like that gym teacher or something, like one of those gym teachers that says, we're going to do this. We're going to do that. And it doesn't work. Like
Harbaugh was like rah, but Dan Campbell is just he's
rah, but
Harbaugh on steroids. Yeah, it's nuts. He's like a wrestler. He's like
Dan Campbell he's built like a professional wrestler, but he kind of maybe the roids are getting under his head a little bit. I don't know. I mean,
a little CTE from those old school helmets. I don't know.
yeah, for sure.
But he's got to grow. And but did Ben Johnson move on?
No, he's still going to be there because they haven't hired him nobody has hired him as a head coach right now. So,
well, they have everybody then. So,
yeah, the downside of the Lions is their defense, bro. Their defense.
They added that really good corner from Alabama, though.
Oh, they got this kid from Missouri too, bro. They try to address that area.
Who is it?
They got this Ennis Straw or something from Missouri, which he was
Rake
listed.
Straw. Yeah. Enos Rake Straw.
That's a good pick, actually, to solidify their
so he'll probably Brian Branch. He'll probably compete with Brian Branch for the nickel job. So yeah, they might have 2 rookies in the secondary. 2 good rookies, but they're still rookies.
I think compared to the difference, bro, I just don't know if they'll win their division over the Packers. I just don't know, man. It's just Packers don't really need to go aggressive like everybody else. They're building the right way. They're trying to they got a quarterback. That's all they need. And
yeah. I mean,
the only weakness
Goff is very similar to Stafford. Like Goff, he's a rhythm quarterback. Like he has to get in a rhythm to be effective. But if he gets in that rhythm, he's dangerous. And but if you rattle either one of those guys, are mostly like statues. If you rattle either one of those guys, they fall up. The whole team crumbles underneath.
Yeah. So. But to be honest with you, Love is a little bit mobile. He can move. It's just he would only get better with more experience. But he hasn't played a lot. He's
dirtbags hit the showers. Tommy was talking about the gym teacher from Nightmare on Elm Street too.
Oh man, no. But if you look at the difference, I think it's going to come down to those 2 teams. And I'm not trying to sound like a hater, but I don't believe the hype with the Bears, man. It's just I don't see it, man.
I'm absolutely out on the Bears. I don't think that they're going to finish lower than the Vikings, but 3rd place, they might win 5 or 6 games. That's if Caleb Williams is good. If he's bad,
their ceiling could be 10
they're going to
wins.
be taking top 5.
Their ceiling could maybe be 10 wins if Caleb Williams is the real deal or not.
Who's their backup? Like if all things go really, really wrong with Caleb Williams, who's their backup?
Actually, isn't it that guy they had last year? I forget his damn name. He was the one that was like
Justin. Let me look it up.
No, Fields is with the Steelers, but they had this other backup quarterback that was actually stepping in pretty decent. But he was
let's see. It is.
Oh, Badgett.
Badgett, right. Yeah.
Is it Tyson Badgett?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's him, yeah. He was an okay quarterback. He was just a game manager.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of like on the same level as like a Nick Mullins or whatever. Like they look good at times, but they're not going to win your division. So
nah, he's not.
If it goes bad, if it goes south for Caleb Williams, that's it.
I mean, I don't expect nothing less from the Bears. I mean, they got the receivers and all that talent, but I don't think it's going to happen. So,
do they have the offensive line though? They didn't really address it because that was Justin Fields' biggest problem. He had no protection. He was running down the field as much Justin Field has his own negatives. Like he couldn't read a defense very well, but he also didn't have the protection. So those 2 things combined, he was running all over the place.
That could be a factor right there. But since we're going on to the next team, I mean, you want to just throw the Bears in or nah? No, Eagles? Okay, let's throw the Philadelphia Eagles. Man, you know what? I'll be straight up honest. I think the Eagles have found their physicality. I think they found their dog. I think they found their soul. So from a 1 to 10, they're probably going to be the closest threat to us.
Yeah.
Because
I don't know.
That Super Bowl loss actually kind of took away what they were. They were on a good start early in the season, and then it slipped away with their eagleness. I think this is going to be a far different Eagles team. I think they're going to be a lot closer. They're going to give us a little run for their money. I think in the playoffs, I don't think it's going to be in Philadelphia. I think it's going to come down to Levi Stadium. I'm going to say this as a bold prediction. I think when it's all said and done, it can either be the Rams or Niners, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's the Eagles and 49ers for the NFC Championship game. I just think these two teams met each other again.
I'm not counting it out, but I look at the Eagles and I see paper tigers. I don't they look good on paper, but look, here's why. Let me just give you some factors. Saquon Barkley has never had a fully healthy season. He's gonna get injured. He's like Debo. He's gonna at least miss 3 to 4 games. He's not gonna give you a full season. That could hurt them in the run game because their depth isn't great at running back. Jalen Hurts, the blueprint is out on him. You collapse the pocket, you push that pocket, and he turns into because he can only get through his first read. He's going to get sacked at a record number of times. And then Jason Kelsey, gone. That's your leader. That's your quarterback, your offensive line. if people don't think losing him, if you're just going to plug and play Jurgensen or whoever it's going to be, like if you think that losing Kelsey isn't a factor, that guy's a Hall of Fame center. Like it's a factor. So offensively, I don't trust it. The receivers are always banged up. Devontae Smith is always hurt too. He's little, just happens with those types of guys. The tight end is always banged up. Who's the tight end again?
Dallas Goedert.
Yeah. Okay. And then defensively, that defensive line is nothing anymore. They're much like the Packers. They're getting pushed around. Like Hargrave's gone. I mean, they got Carter, but Carter got hurt. So we'll see how he bounces back. There's just a lot of question marks. I do like their secondary. I think their secondary's gotten stronger. Linebackers mid-level still sucks. I don't know. I don't trust it. I think they're paper tigers. I think when you look at them on paper, they look great. But when you start adding context and factors, I don't know. I mean, look, the Cowboys are worse. They're in a worse position.
Yeah, they're in a worse position, but
they don't have a run game.
I just don't see how the Eagles are like a team that you should like take it into lightly. Like, do you really think the Eagles are going to lose to the Packers? Do you really think
it'd be hilarious because the NFC East never has the same division winners. Watch like the New York Giants just rise up with Brian Burns and Thibodeau and all these guys.
That would be funny with Daniel Jones' resurgent season or something like that. Or wait, I got a better one.
Danny Dimes brings back into Danny Dimes.
I got a better one. It wouldn't be a surprise. It wouldn't be surprised if Jaden Daniels had like an RG3 rookie season and just puts up some numbers and it comes off and the Commanders take over the Eagles. That would be hilarious.
Yeah, and they got two good running backs. They got a good offensive line. They might finally have a quarterback now that can touch you in many different ways. They got McLaurin. They got McCaffrey. They got, who's their tight end?
Oh, they got they got the guy from Zach Ertz.
Oh, well,
they signed Zach Ertz.
Yeah, he's a little washed. Oh, but they got Ben Sinnott.
Oh, yeah, they got Ben Sinnott, and they got this Turner kid.
Right, yeah, Turner. And then they got Jahan Dotson. I think that's a decent – they got Austin Eckler and then Robinson at running back.
I mean, they got a pretty deep
– They got Cleveland Farrell from us, who is a great run stopper. He's coming off injury. Then Daron Payne, Jonathan Allen. Pretty good defensive line.
They got some talent.
Oh, they got Bobby Wagner? I mean, that's
because he fits the system with Dan Quinn.
I don't know. Mike Sanders.
It wouldn't surprise me if the Commanders do make a step, but I think it's Philadelphia for sure.
I don't know. There's something about them that I just can't buy into.
Like, it would be kind of funny if Jaden Daniels had
what they look like on paper, but I can't do it.
It would be kind of funny if Jaden Daniels had an RG3 type rookie season and the Commanders just come as that team to win that division and they just choke on the Niners in the playoffs or something like that.
I got to ask you a question, and I'm not trying to get political or anything like that. I know you're native, so how did you feel about the name? And now Montana is there's a tribe coming back trying to sue the NFL because that logo was an actual chief.
But I've never understood the way they kind of said it. Like, majority of the tribes weren't even that offended. I think a lot of it kind of honored the veterans, actually, the ones who were native. Like, I think some of the people from other tribes, they probably found it very disrespectful and they probably didn't care for the sport. So they probably just thought, well, since this is something against our own tribe or something, we found it disrespectful. But this is a world where it's pretty soft. Like, I think the way they kind of look at it, bro, I don't even think it's degrading or nothing. I think it's honoring how we are. Like, look at the Kansas City Chiefs, bro. Don't they have something similar? Isn't the chief like the guy who runs the tribes? Yeah. That's a native name too. And then you look at the fan base, they do that sound, right? They do the sound like a Native American. Right. I'm not offended by that. You got to have tough skin in this. And it's not like they're disrespecting, they're honoring. They're showing their team spirit. They're showing the spirit.
I think the biggest thing was, obviously, like Redskins was a derogatory term back in the day. And it kind of got political and everything like that. But I just I can't disassociate my mind from that because that's what I grew up with, with the logo and the cool colors.
Yeah, a lot of us. Yeah. The one thing I probably the only thing that probably just wouldn't be a thing I would not condone is the Cleveland Indians. I don't know. It's just the offense term, but I don't see how it's any different, Like, Washington Redskins, it's never been offended by what people were thinking. I think it's been honoring the tribes. You look at the Kansas City Chiefs, when they do this type of thing, everybody thinks it's a mockery. No, they do this as a tradition, like a game day tradition. They honor the tribes and all that stuff. Like,
well, then in college, you have the Seminoles, right? And they got the guy with the war paint, and he's riding on the horse.
Exactly, Kenny.
So, like, that's
exactly what
honoring
Kenny
the
just
Seminole
said.
tribe.
Exactly what Kenny just said. That disgrace of that logo is what really pissed off some of us tribes with the Indian. Like, I don't got a problem with the name. It's just stop making it look like a stereotype. Yeah. I mean, you got the Braves,
sorry,
right?
I just wanted to get your take on that. I could probably have done it off camera. I could have done it off camera, but I just was interested because I know that you're native.
No, I mean, I have some
hearing.
Yeah, I don't take no offense of it, bro. I think the way they look at it the wrong way. I think it's some of them that don't really care for the sport and they just want to take some of that politic money out of it.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's keep the show rolling, and I'm going to move on here to any dark horses. And that is not any kind of skin color reference or any kind of racism towards horses or anything like that. So just want to clear that up. Anyhow, any dark horses for you that you see this year coming out of nowhere to become a contender?
Yeah, let's put the cream of the crop, the dark horse, brother. I'm gonna give you my dark horse, brother. Tampa Bay, brother. They're sleeping on Baker Mayfield. Everybody's hyping the Atlanta Falcons just because of
Look who showed up, by the way. You called an Amber Alert on him last week, and he's here.
Oh, yeah, we were going to report Amber Alert. And you know what? Shout out to my Comanche tribes, because that's my tribe I'm part of. One of the most toughest tribes in the business. Apache's up there, too. But
by the way, this is my game day koozie. We got
Oh, yeah. Good, brother. No, but I think Tampa Bay is my dark horse in the NFC because everybody's taking lightly on Baker Mayfield right now. They're thinking it's a fluke. Look at what Tampa Bay did this offseason. They got a lot of receiving core. They fixed certain areas. Atlanta Falcons, you can hype them. You can say what you want because they got Kirk Cousins and all that stuff. But I'm not buying it.
My sister-in-law. I got to shout out her. What up, y'all? What's up, Tally?
Tally Bug? Cool name.
Her name's Natalia, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, Natalia. Oh, yeah, brother.
Here we go. Here's my guy right here. This is who I'm saying. The Falcons.
Oh, okay. It's fair. It's fair because everybody.
Let's be real. Like the NFC South's up for grabs, right?
It is. It's like a charity, bro. Like nobody wants to win that division. They'll just take it.
I think the Panthers are going to be picking top 5. That's what I feel.
Yeah.
But have you seen any of the OTA stuff of the Xavier Legette guy? He makes DK Metcalf look small. This guy's huge. He almost looks like a tight end. He almost looks like Vernon Davis.
Oh, dude, that's the guy I wanted in the draft too, and we didn't even get this guy. I'm telling you, the Panthers got something special. Oh, yeah, Natalia, thank you for the name CG. I'm ruthless. Don't forget about it.
Yeah, so that's mine. I say the Falcons just because I love their young pieces around Kirk Cousins. I think they got a decent enough offensive line, young kind of tenacious defense, and I think it's going to be scrappy between those two teams. The Bucs.
Yeah, I think it's going to be up for grabs with these two teams, but I feel like the one that's more proven is Tampa Bay because I already know what I got. But like you just said, Atlanta Falcons, they got all the talent. It's just they've never been able to capitalize. Like
they've never been able to put it together. But maybe this will be.
They are a quarterback away, in which maybe Cousins is the solution. But I still trust Tampa.
That's been it, right? Like Desmond Ritter didn't work out. Where's he at now?
Oh, he's with the Cardinals. He's their backup quarterback. Like, how do you go from being the Falcons' starting quarterback to the bench to now being the backup to Kyler Murray?
Yeah, so just looking at their roster, they got Casey Washington, rookie, Drake London, Darnell Mooney, Rondell Moore, who has speed. And then they got our boy Ray McLeod, Jake Matthews covering the blind side for Cousins, Lindstrom. They got a really good offensive line, actually. Drew Dahlman.
I like their center. I like the center because of his Yeah, because his dad used to play for us, and the Niners might be interested in him next year. So
yeah, and then you got Kyle Pitts and Bijan Robinson. Then you have that tank. I hate it when we play this guy Tyler Algier or how
he's a physical running back. I think he's a Polynesian running back, but he's a
that guy is like he reminds me of Marshawn Lynch. Like he just runs people over.
No, he kind of reminds me more of Michael Turner a little bit. Just
some bowling ball,
big body running like a bowling ball type of guy. Like they got Warner and they got Ross Dwelly. They got like two of our leftovers, Yeah,
I like their secondary. They got a good secondary. AJ Terrell, Jesse Bates.
Jesse Bates is a baller, yeah.
D. Afford. They got a good secondary. I think that where they're going to struggle is that front seven a little bit. They got Grady, but I think the same scenario could be said for the Bucs. I mean, who's their front seven? I don't think they got a great front seven either.
They got a guy who can eat all the run. They got Vita Vea. I mean, they got some young players, but
the Saints?
The Saints got a pretty deep defense. I'm not gonna lie, but you look at who they got as a head coach, Dennis Allen. I just don't buy into Dennis Allen.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the same thing with the Bucs. Their front seven, besides Vea and Levante David, I don't know.
Nah, it's just you look at Tampa Bay. I already know what I'm getting with Tampa Bay. They are still the same team. They're just a little bit different without Brady, but Mayfield is just he's a little bit more of a guy that can take chances, and that's okay.
Who's their offensive? I don't even know who they got two defensive coordinators. It says Casey Rogers and Larry Foote.
Hard because wasn't their offensive coordinator taking the Panthers job, right?
Yeah.
What happened with their
I don't trust Todd Bowles as a coach.
Todd Bowles has a good track record when it comes to running defenses, but as a head coach, not so much.
Yeah, he's a better coordinator.
Yeah. Just like how
if you had the choice of Steve Wilkes and Todd Bowles, I'm taking Bowles. Like Steve Wilkes was not.
Oh, dude, we already experienced the Steve Wilkes, man. I don't know. Maybe it just wasn't meant to be. Maybe they just didn't let him run the defense he wanted to run. And
I just always wonder. I wonder why Steve Wilkes only ever lasts like 2 years at a time anywhere he goes. Since college to now, 2 years. That's it.
It sounds like, and everybody makes it sound like it's prejudice that we fired him because of this. Like, dude, maybe he just wasn't a fit. I don't know. He ain't taking nothing against him. It's like, what is it with Steve Wilkes? Maybe he's just a better position coach. Maybe. A DC that's just not like in a great fit. Like,
I just wonder. Yeah, maybe it's a fit thing, or maybe he just wears out his welcome. Because he kind of look how he approached it with the Niners. He came in, they wanted him to adopt our defense, and he said, "Okay, but I'm going to sit in the box." It's like, okay, but there was always it always felt like there was a but. Like he wasn't selling out for the team. He kind of just like, okay, I'll come out of the box and be on the sidelines. It was like resistance, I don't think we're going to get that from Staley or Sorensen.
And the fact that you were getting players to tell him to go at the sideline and say, "We need to feed off the energy with you out there," and he's like, "What difference does it make?"
Yeah, it was just like
he was asked that question. Wow. He says it makes no difference,
and that's why I think he doesn't last. I think his ego gets the best of him, and he's like, "I know best. I'm going to do it my way," and Kyle's like, "No, Robert Saleh, D'Amico Ryans, wide 9. That's what we're doing." And
you don't like it.
Yeah. And now you got some guys that are going to sell out, like Brandon Staley. He'll probably add some wrinkles, drawing it up on the X's and O's. And Sorensen's an ex-player who's going to be down in the trenches with those guys.
And he already knows the system. He knows what kind of system we're running. It's going to
be like another Saleh or D'Amico Ryans situation, I think. Hopefully.
But I think Staley is the insurance in case Sorensen doesn't hold up pretty well. That's why you got the experienced guy like Staley.
Yeah. So any others? I mean, that could just come out of nowhere. We talked about the Commanders a little bit. I think they could be potentially looking at the roster. I don't know.
I mean, okay, if we're talking about a dark horse team, I already said Tampa Bay. But if I got to pick one more team,
Giants.
I know this may sound crazy, but man, I don't want to make it sound like this is ridiculous. I don't think you're going to agree with me on this one, but if I had to pick a second dark horse team, I want to say the Rams. It's because they're young and hungry.
Us for the division?
Possibly, bro. I'm not saying they could, but I'm just saying dark horse wise. Remember what happened a couple years ago?
Happen. I mean, I could totally see it flip flopping. Niners going to the wild card.
I'm just saying, like, as a second dark horse, that would be my second dark horse team because Tampa Bay, I already see them making strides. The Rams, their defense is unpredictable, but they do got an offense. They got Sean McVay, and if you play them a third time, it's not going to be easy. So that would be my dark horse second.
Seattle has Mike McDonald coming over from Baltimore.
It's going to be a different kind of culture, the way they run the defense.
It's going to be a different culture. It's going to be a different defensive attack. They don't have the same players as Baltimore has, but I think we're going to start to see that culture that John Harbaugh built over in Baltimore kind of transition over into Seattle. Yeah. So maybe not this season. I still think they need a better quarterback. I don't trust Geno Smith as far as I could throw him.
And then you look at the Cardinals. Maybe a couple more years they'd be okay, but I don't think they're going to have it with that head coach for long. I think he's going to be good as God.
Yeah, I think that I mentioned this earlier in a chat. I forget who it was that I was live with or chatting in the live, but I mentioned it was John Chapman, and I said this, and I believe this, that Marvin Harrison is a hell of a player, but he's going to get double teamed all year. And then they have literally nobody else to throw the ball. They got Tip Ryman, the rookie tight end. I think he's going to make an impact too.
I like him as a blocking tight end, yeah.
They're going to need some time to get going. And so
it's the other part
about it is like Kyler Murray can't stay healthy to save his life. So
yeah, and they got this
he's a scary quarterback.
Yeah, I mean they got my boy Max Melton, who I wanted, and they got him. I was like jealous as hell. Like, damn, why you guys take him? You know, but I think this is a young team. It's just I'm not underestimating the Cardinals. They may give us a little bit of competition, but I don't think they're going to run that division. I don't think they're going to even make the playoffs. I think you give it a couple years, and maybe by this time they build this foundation, they could be a good team like they were in 2021. But it would take them another year or two to get back to that form. Yeah,
see, I tend to agree with Huxley here.
Yeah, it would be because I expect a Mike McDonald's defense to be a little different because this Baltimore style defense.
Is it the defense that you didn't trust last year with Seattle, or is it the offense? For me, it's the offense.
It's both. Actually, it's both. Actually, because
Tyler Lockett's older. DK can only run like 2 routes.
No, but you look at Seattle's defense. What if they try to address the secondary and it's still one of their weakest spots?
Their run defense just lingering in the back. Kind of feels like have you ever done like a presentation in class and you have your teacher just kind of sitting back here over your shoulder watching everything that you're doing? I feel like that's how Mike McDonald's going to feel with Pete Carroll still there, still on the field, still smacking his bubble gum. Like he's going to be up there behind him. And it's going to be challenging, dynamic. And then does Schneider recognize that and get rid of Pete Carroll because he's like, this guy's got to have his own thing? I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a weird dynamic.
Yeah, it is. I think that's going to be the toughest one. I think those two are question marks.
I don't know if you're old enough to remember, but Bill Walsh, like when he was kind of in a similar advisor, executive type role for the Niners after he,
I think that's exactly what you get with like Bill Walsh was inheriting a bad 49ers team in 1970.
No, I'm talking about after he retired.
He took the front office. He retired. Like once he retired, he was a head coach for Stanford for a little bit, and then he eventually became a part of the front office. But it
kind of feels like that with Pete.
That's probably going to be Pete Carroll's role because I don't think nobody wants to get him as a head coach because he's already old.
He's too damn old. Yeah.
And Belichick, I don't think he wants nothing less than a head coach role.
No, he's too busy with his little 24-year-old talk to it.
I don't know, man.
I'm not touching that one either.
Yeah, I ain't getting there, bro. But I mean, like they say, man, you get them cream of the crop, brother.
Yeah. She is. For
sure. Smoke and fire.
Yeah, I mean, I think we kind of covered all the teams that could be. I mean, you're going to have your lower level teams. They're going to be picking, top 5. I think the Giants could be that. They might get better because of Burns. I really love Neighbors. I think he's probably the best receiver potentially.
Since they have Odell Beckham, yeah, I think they might be, but I don't think they're gonna. I think maybe the only closest team, maybe the Commanders, because we don't know what they are.
Yeah, we kind of went a little bit to Fantasyland, but in reality, when they start playing all the better teams, they're probably not. I could see them maybe stealing one from the Cowboys. Maybe if they're lucky, steal one from the Eagles. But you
look at that. Yeah, but you look at that Commanders team. They got a talented roster. It's just young and hungry. And you look at Dan Quinn. He already knows Dallas. He knows that division pretty well.
Yeah. Well, and so I think that it's pretty clear on paper, and the Niners are the defending NFC champs. I think the Niners are the team to beat. Just kind of coming full circle. I think there are some teams that can threaten them a little bit in the NFC, but I think it's the AFC. If they do happen to get back to a Super Bowl, it's going to be the AFC that really, really challenges and threatens the Niners.
I mean, outside the Kansas City Chiefs, maybe the AFC isn't as bad as y'all. I mean, isn't probably as tough as you think. It's just
Texans. I think when Joe Burrow's healthy, the Bengals are scary. Who else? I mean, they beat us the last time we played them.
I mean,
definitely not the Dolphins. I don't trust Buffalo. Just because
Baltimore, it's like they're one and done every now and then. So I don't know. I do like Baltimore, but they're not like a team that's going to finish far.
Yeah, and then you have the X factor of Harbaugh. We don't. He went to
That's the crazy fact, bro. Year. We were like one of those under the radars from 2011. That was the year that everybody wasn't sure.
I actually think the Chargers can win that division. I'm going to throw it out there because the Chiefs were a garbage regular season team last year. The Chargers have a chance to sneak up on them and take that division. If both can stay healthy, if their defense can stay healthy, that's been their biggest challenge, right?
Man, that would be great, bro. Can we play hardball in the Super Bowl and just get our win over that team since it was
my God, that would actually be pretty epic. And then it would be our second Super Bowl win over the Chargers.
It would be one from San Diego and in LA. And that'd be kind of cool.
Beat the Chargers in both cities. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then that'd be like the only reason why we own LA because of that. But
I really, really, really do not want to see the Chiefs again.
They're just giving us problems, and it's just Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. I think if you play any other team and you have like a touchdown lead, you're going to play against these other quarterbacks who don't do exactly what Mahomes does.
For some reason, in both those Super Bowls, it was just like a couple bounces here and there. Like,
give us Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, bro, and we can win that shit.
Oh God, yeah, they're not going to make it. I'll be surprised
if they did. If they did, it'd be kind of funny. Give us the Miami Dolphins. We'll probably smoke them.
I feel like Salah's. This might be his last year there.
Yeah, and I think Salah's going to be coming back here.
Let's hope so. That would be phenomenal.
I don't know.
If Staley and Sorensen win a Super Bowl this year, they're not going anywhere.
No, they might get a job elsewhere. They might get a head coaching job.
Staley might, but I think Sorensen would stick it out. I think.
Yeah, but it'd be kind of funny if we just get. But I think that would be the best chance. Okay, for us to win a Super Bowl, it would have to be no Kansas City. I think we can beat any other team, bro. You can give me the Houston Texans because they never proven nothing. We know DeMeco Ryans pretty well.
Yeah,
give me the Jaguars. Give me the Jaguars. We own them. Give me
Jaguars suck.
No, give me that's the way I see it, bro. Give us the Jaguars. You know what, football gods? I want this Super Bowl to be Niners and Jaguars, just so we can get that easy path to winning that Lombardi Trophy. We can shove it to AEW also. I'm just playing.
I guess for me, I think I would love to see the Bengals again. Imagine beating a team three times.
Yeah. But imagine, you know what Super Bowl would be the greatest one? This would be great if you had a better Dolphins team and you just had the teacher versus the student, Mike McDaniel. But then you got Buffalo too. We've never seen that Super Bowl. Montana and Jim Kelly was supposed to be. But Jim
Buffalo has it in them. I don't know. I just don't think they do. I don't see Josh Allen as a Super Bowl caliber quarterback.
But he could this could be one of those seasons where he does go to the Super Bowl. Look at Cam Newton. Who was his wide receivers in Carolina? outside of Steve Smith. Outside of Steve Smith.
Muhammad, whatever. He had some good receivers.
No, but in 2015, Steve Smith wasn't there. They didn't have any big name receivers, and he won the MVP and got to the Super Bowl.
Who was there?
Dude, all they had was Calvin Benjamin, but he was on an injured reserve.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't have nobody else.
They had Greg Olsen, but not a receiver.
But they didn't have nobody else. If Josh Allen is as good as he is, bro, he can take Buffalo to the Super Bowl.
But he's just a turnover machine.
Oh, let's give a shout out to my boy KO Sports Talk. He's one of them optimistic Bears fans. We'll see what happens. I'm not trying to. I don't know, bro. I want to actually pick them over the Packers because I despise the Packers, but I got to be realistic, bro. I just see the Packers as a real deal team.
I heard something really funny yesterday about Caleb Williams audibling. Probably not appropriate for the show, so I can't do it.
No, but something about
Caleb Williams is not the guy.
But Caleb is he's gonna learn from the best. Brock Purdy's gonna train this kid how to be a pro, I guess. I don't know, but if you pick up some pointers, maybe. But I don't see it, bro. I see the Packers winning that division. I really hate the Packers.
Caleb Williams does not have the processor. I think he's a better passer than Justin Fields, but that's where it stops. It's like he's limited. He's not. I don't know.
He's a little too overhyped a little bit, bro.
That's and then he's entitled. We've seen this before. We've seen like Ryan Leaf.
He reminds me more of Baker Mayfield. He reminds me a little bit of Baker Mayfield because of the cockiness and the talent, bro. Everybody didn't have a question with Mayfield's talent.
But it's even different than Baker Mayfield. Like Baker was working. Like Baker
he was a little bit of a diva too.
It was like in Paris right now or something. There's all sorts of quarterback summits and throwing camps and stuff like that, and quarterback gurus. And this dude's got like fur coats on in fucking Paris. I'm sorry, but that's not the winning. That is not the winning ingredient.
Hey, you get some wide receivers for this kid, and maybe a solid defense. Maybe this could be a wild card team, but I'm not saying they are going to win a division. I don't think they are. Maybe the number 7 seed. I don't know.
They're not.
I just don't see them like as a team like where you're like, oh, this team could do something.
They're not on my dark horse radar.
They're not even close. Like, as much as I can't stand the Rams, I would at least put them as my dark horse. And I can't stand the Rams.
So this is why. Okay, so the Panthers made the Super Bowl because of their run game. You're right about the. They had Ted Ginn. They had Cotchery.
But that's the difference, bro. Like Cam Newton was an MVP.
They had a hell of a run game because they had Jonathan Stewart, Mike Tolbert, Artis Payne, Fozzie Whitaker. They were just running down people's throats.
They were doing really
Cam Newton.
Yeah. How do you think we got to the Super Bowl with Kaepernick? He only had Michael Crabtree and Vernon Davis. The rest of those guys were just like whatever.
Yeah, well, Randy Moss, but he was at the end.
He was washed at the end
of the square.
But I mean, have you noticed all the Super Bowls with Tom Brady's first beginning? He didn't have no big names.
Yeah.
Oh, I like this comment by Tommy. Care Bears are a threat to Chuck E. Cheese. Chuck E. Cheese.
I think he's talking about the Packers. So
no, he's talking about the Bears.
Chuck Cheese. Yeah, Chuck Cheese is the Packers, I think.
No. He's talking about Chuck E. Cheese.
The Bears are a threat to because the cheese, the Packers. I
think he's saying the Bears are a threat to Chuck E. Cheese. I think he forgot to put Chuck E. Cheese.
Okay, well that's a funnier joke if that's what he meant. But I thought he meant the Bears are a threat to the Packers. I don't know if what's his nickname for the Packers. It actually would be a funny nickname for the Packers. Green Bay Chuck E. Cheeses.
That's a good one. Yeah, Chuck E. Cheese. Well, I think they could be a threat to the Packers, but I don't think they're going to win that division. I really want to – hopefully I'm wrong about it. Maybe I want to see the Bears make the playoffs, but I don't see it. There's always going to be that one team we don't even think. So maybe the Bears are, or maybe the Commanders. I don't know.
Who's their coach? Their coach is trash, too.
Oh, yeah, he's a DC. He was from the Colts. I forget his name. I know which guy you're talking about. I forget his damn name.
Matt Eberflus.
Matt Eberflew. That dude's a DC. He's more of a defensive guy.
And then their offensive coordinator, Shane Waldron, Eric Washington.
He came from I think he came from the Rams or Seahawks. I don't know which one.
Yeah, the Bears aren't. I'm going to go out on a limb here. Bears aren't doing shit this year.
Hey,
Pretty dangerous.
if my boy Michael Sports Talk is here, you can screenshot this. We don't think the Bears are going to do a damn thing, brother.
Bookmark it.
Bookmark that.
Record us and say these guys didn't know what the hell they're talking about.
Their ceiling
is
is 8 wins.
And say that.
They can win 8 games. I think their ceiling's 8 wins at best. I just don't know.
8 and 9.
Yeah. Oh, see, see. Tommy said that Care Bears are a threat to Chuck E. Cheese. Well, they are a threat to Chuck E. Cheese. But with all due respect, I respect KO. He's a passionate Bears fan. He's optimistic. He has every right to be, and we shall see what happens, bro. I'm not trying to underestimate him. They do have a young talent.
I just hope the Bears don't turn into Cowboys fans. Like, this is our year, every year.
No, actually, what can make the Bears better is they got better receiving core on paper.
I've got the Bears finishing 5-12. By the way.
Oh my God! Hey, Michael, screenshot this, please. Screenshot to my guy Andrew, bro, or Kerr. Screenshot this. Do it, Michael. Do it.
Screenshot.
Yeah, for sure.
I like the Super Bowl. I do. I don't know why. I really love the Super Bowl. If that's what it wants to be.
My dream Super Bowl would be the Niners and Bills, actually, because I want us to beat the Bills so we can pay our due and get our Super Bowl with the Bills. You know why it makes sense? Because we pay our dues. We finally got our Super Bowl.
All right, guys, we're going to open up the 49ers Q&A for Chuck E. Cheese here.
Yeah, Chuck E. Cheese.
You guys got any questions for us? Fire away. Let's go.
Q&A, man. Throw some questions, man. Kenny, last week we were going to put an Amber Alert on you, brother. It's good to see you.
I agree, Kenny. I don't see it. I just don't see it.
I mean, I want to believe it, but I just don't know, bro.
I think they got a lot of good surrounding pieces, but I think that quarterback's going to have a wake-up call.
Maybe he might be good.
Some of them have that, like Jamarcus Russell, and then they just never really do anything. I think he got busted for stealing a donation recently, like 75
from the high school, right? From a high school team he was coaching.
Dude.
Man. Yeah. Oh, he said his first job was, can each of you guys put together a realistic trade package for BA? There's just hasn't been nothing to happen right now.
The biggest part of that equation is that Brandon Ayuk is going to have to say yes to whatever team he's being traded to. But with that in mind, if they pay him big time money, I think Brandon's going to see green and go. So I think that we talked about this, was it last week a little bit?
Yeah, the other week.
I think that, for me, my ideal scenario would be a Raiders swap. The Raiders are a younger team. Raiders, Devontae Adams swap. Niners are at $26 million. Maybe you throw in a draft pick for the Raiders to make it a little bit more appealing. They decide to pay Brandon Ayuk because he's only, 25, 26, something like that. They pay him for 4 years, extend him.
That would be a reasonable trade. That would be a reasonable trade. That's what I said the other week. I said that would make the most sense for us. And you even said that makes a lot of sense. But I think
and Jesse Naylor actually brought this up. He said that, a team would have to be willing to give up the asset for asset. So the Niners would probably have to sweeten the deal a little bit and throw in like a 4th or a 5th or something like that.
No, I mean, you get an established wide receiver. You get somebody who's at the kind of like still at his prime, kind of, and he could still produce the same as Brandon Ayuk, if not better. That's another option of a trade.
That the route running ability would go up a notch. I think the blocking might. Devontae Adams is physical, so it's not like he won't do what Kyle asks him to do. But I think that it takes a while to get used to that kind of offense.
Oh yeah. I think that's a good package deal, but if I had to include another package deal, this may sound crazy. I'm gonna say this may sound nuts, but Brandon Ayuk for Joey Bosa, straight up. You get Joey Bosa, you get him to pair with his brother, and you get off the deal a little bit, and you take whatever Bosa's contract is, and you give Nick Bosa his brother. You get a rotation. You keep this guy fresh. You make this defense the most scary defense, and you still get to see what you get with Ricky Pearson and those other guys.
Yeah, I don't know about that because for me personally, I don't want to see us relying on rookies.
But then you look at who do the Chargers have, bro? They don't have anybody else that's good. That's just my 2 cents. That would probably make the most sense.
I mean, Harbaugh would love it. Harbaugh would love it.
He needs a proven receiver. He needs somebody like a Michael Crabtree.
Yeah,
and that would be the closest to a Michael Crabtree.
VA is better than Crabtree.
But you get the Bosa brothers, and Leonard Floyd can just come off the bench and produce.
Well, just keep everybody fresh. I don't necessarily hate it. I hate the idea of Bosa coming over and then being injured for 7 games and then having to listen to fans go ape shit on the fact that we sent him and he's played all 17 games for the Chargers.
But you can get him for the most important games of the season.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. How about this one from Tommy?
I like this one.
I say no.
No, I think we're going to have a little bit of a split with the Rams. I think we will win. I think we'll win 5 of our division games.
Yeah, I think it's 5 or 4.
5 or 4 wins is realistic in our division.
Yeah, there's one of those Seattle games that we have short rest. I think it's like a Thursday night game.
Yeah, and, but if the Steelers were dead serious about Brandon Ayuk, give us freaking TJ Watt, and we'll make the deal happen.
They're not going to give us
They're not going to do it, but
blue chip pass rusher. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
If we sweep Seattle and the Cardinals, it'll be for the 3rd year in a row.
Yeah, it would, because. That's true. But I think we will.
I don't know. I think Seattle's 50-50.
It's 50-50 the sweep because it's hard to play in Seattle.
And also 50-50 with the Cardinals, really, because
they're a tricky team.
Kyler Murray is healthy for both those games. I mean, he can do some damage. I mean, the Cardinals gave us some problems. Cardinals always give us – they never win, but they always give us problems. So
and Josh Dobbs was giving us a game a little bit too, so it wasn't like anything kind of like. And he's the crazy part is he's our backup quarterback.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't see any other questions, so.
Well, let's see if they give us one more question, and we can end this.
One more.
Okay, give us one more question, and
one more good question for whoever says it first.
Let's see. Give us one more question. We'll be glad to answer it. But if not, I'll definitely finish the last of this beer, and I'll give you guys the final outro of what I say. I'll give you guys the cheers and then go. I'll give you that. Well, doesn't look like any.
He did. Yeah, I mean, he did.
He's a physical running back.
Yeah. And he always tries to fight our guys. Like, I don't know why. He's just always.
Oh, okay. This is a question right here by our boy Kenny. Can we win without Trent?
Yep.
We can win without Trent. It's just if he misses a little time, we'll be okay.
We can win without him. I think that we can do enough scheme wise, and Brock's got the processor. I think that.
Steve-O gave us a good question.
Okay, one more since he.
One more question since we like Steve-O. So okay. Who do we trade for midseason? Okay, let's say if the offensive line doesn't work out as good. Let's say Jake Brendel is injured and he's out for the year, and you don't have no stability at center. Do we make a trade for a center or somebody?
You're gonna have to trade with a team that probably isn't going to make the playoffs, like we do with Chase.
And they got a good quality starting center or somebody, and we can just give them a third.
We traded for the year before. We did Chase last year, and then we did another mid-season trade for somebody.
We'll get Dahlman. Let's say the Falcons don't even make it far. Let's say they don't even make the playoffs, and we get their starting center.
What are we gonna have to give up for that? We're gonna have to
probably just a mid-round pick. But you know what? I think there's another option. Let's say hypothetically we are going through an injury at a different position. Like you look.
Yeah, I mean, you have to fill in. Let's say. I don't even want to put it in the universe. I don't even want to talk about injuries that haven't happened. So
I don't even want to think of it either.
Like week 8, maybe it happens, and I'm gonna be like, "See, we jinx it."
Jeez, like we can see something like a safety injury, and maybe we're kind of thin at that position down the stretch. Which I hope it doesn't happen. But we make this trade with a certain team that's not making the playoffs, and we make a deal. And this team that's not making the playoffs, they give us a starting caliber safety. And we decide to keep him over this guy for this offseason.
Well, I'll stay in the secondary. let's say like somebody like Lenore goes down and Renardo Green's not quite up to speed, and we really need that nickel corner to get us to the finish line. I think that maybe a nickel corner. I don't know what player or what team, but I would say like a corner maybe.
Yeah, maybe somebody that's a quality starter, but maybe like you said, maybe a team in New Orleans, like maybe if an injury comes and maybe the Saints want to start
Lattimore, maybe
Lattimore would be an option, but we'll see.
Yeah.
That's possible. But I think we pretty much answered all the questions. Yeah, as long as we don't play at East Rutherford, New Jersey, Giant Stadium is pretty much a bad place. Yeah.
Has Justin Simmons signed anywhere?
No, he hasn't even signed nowhere. That's the crazy part. If we sign him, that's better depth right there.
There's some decent free agents out there still.
Yeah, and they can still contribute for another team. They just haven't been picked up. Maybe because of the injuries, or maybe because they're not in a rush. They want to take their time and look for, like, David Bartiari he can still be signed by us if we wanted to get him. I don't think he's going to ask a lot of money. He probably wants to contend for a Super Bowl team. I don't like our tackle depth personally.
I got a question for you, actually. I just thought of.
Okay.
If Purdy has to miss a few games, not putting it out there for the whole season or whatever, but if he has to miss a few games, can Dobbs win those games with this roster?
Well, we've seen what he did with the Cardinals. They weren't the most talented team, and he was able to manage to win one game. This is the most loaded roster.
He learned a playbook in like 2 days for the Vikings.
Yeah,
right?
All he has to do is just manage the game, and if he can do that, and if he can do that, we're good. I think if Purdy were to miss a couple games, if he can manage to win like 2 or 3 of those games and win a couple of those ones, then we're good.
Jason just said this earlier too. Jason Mobbs, my friend, longtime friend. Who are they talking about? Gibson.
Deshaun Gibson, but he's not even on the roster no more.
He's not on the That's what I was confused about. Is there a different Gibson from somebody? Gibson's head is Barry Bonds size now.
No, Gibson's not even on the roster. So
why would he be tested for steroids if he's not on any roster?
He's not even on the roster no more.
It doesn't make any sense.
But he is an option to bring in because he's familiar with us. But I don't think we're going to bring him back. I think we're going to go.
I thought maybe he got popped. He's saying it. Bebop Jones said he tested positive. So I don't. Is he going to face a suspension if he comes back? Or is that why they're saying that?
It's possibly. So I don't think it's necessary to bring him back at this point. If that's the case,
I don't think so either. We got Mahoney. We got all these guys. Okay, so there it is. Suspended for 6 games. Guess he's not.
Let me see. But isn't he going to retire? He's going to retire.
He's old. I mean, yeah.
I mean, at this point, he's already going to retire. But let me see. So he's suspended 6 games. Wow, he's not even on our roster. So we're not going to sign him.
Oh well.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Oh well, Justin Simmons.
Simmons is still available. He can still.
I don't know if Hufanga is going to make it back. It sounds like he might, but he could also start on the pop.
Yeah. Then you see Malik Mustafa could be a sleeper.
Yeah, Malik. Then you got Mahoney from Vanderbilt. You got all these. I mean, there's a lot of depth. Then you got Eric. What's his name? Eric Harris.
Eric Harris is somebody that's part of just. Yeah.
Odom's more of a special teamer, but I think we're good at safety.
I think we're pretty solid right there. I think that's pretty much been our weakest spot for quite a while was depth in the secondary.
It's all contingent on Hufanga, right? I think if Hufanga can make it back, by at least week 7, we're good.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think we pretty much covered everything. I'm going to sip on this final drink, and we're going to call it a day.
Appreciate you guys. Go ahead and like and subscribe to all the socials, Instagram, Facebook group. Twitter, X, whatever you call it these days. CG's got a really good TikTok. I haven't really started mine yet, but I'm Drew himself on Twitter. So
over 14,000 followers. Go follow me on TikTok. And for all you guys, subscribe to this channel. Go check out this content. We're going to keep you updated. We're going to keep you posted on some more 49ers content, and we're going to drink. And as always, woo! Let's go 49ers.